why we should not throw away the ashes from our fireplace, there's at least these 30 things we can do with the ash. So these are just 30 things we can do. So we should not throw away the ashes. Many will warm themselves this year with a fireplace or a wood stove. We found a very interesting article about the uses of this ash that we usually throw away as junk. It's very pleasant to warm ourselves in the winter by the fire with a wood stove or a fireplace. From this natural heat, the house is lit, the food is cooked, clothes are dried, the water is heated, and of course the precious ashes are left in the end. We do not need to throw away the ashes because they're not useless or rubbish. We continue to use it as they did in the past, and this makes us feel indescribable joy. Wood ash is the dust left over from burning. We mean wood only naturally, not with paints or glues or processed wood. We must be careful not to throw plastic, cigarette butts, or any other rubbish in the fire that could contaminate the ashes. Wait for it to cool down completely and then collect it. And from the ash, we separate the white ash that's left on top of the coals, and we store it in a metal container with a lid. We keep the coals in another container. We do not throw anything away because everything is needed. So let's now analyze what ash contains and how valuable it is. The ash contains mainly calcium carbonate from 25% to 45%, which is an inorganic salt with the chemical formula CaCO3. Less than 10% contains potassium, K, and less than 1% phosphate. There are trace elements of iron, manganese, zinc, copper, and some heavy metals such as lead, cadmium, nickel, and chromium. It does not contain nitrogen. However, these numbers vary depending on the burning temperature of the wood. Combustion greatly affects the composition and amount of ash, and consequently higher temperatures reduce the yield of ash. So for better ash quality, the low temperatures is ideal. Hardwoods usually produce more ash than softwoods, such as conifers, like pine trees, and the bark and leaves generally produce more ash from the inside of the woody parts of the trees. On average, wood burning gives about 6 to 10% ash. Below, we'll analyze the uses of ash so we can know how to use it. And these are the uses of ash. 1, we can make liquor or just boil 2 or 3 teaspoons of ash in 1 pot of water and then strain it with a coffee filter. It's the best general purpose detergent. It cleans, whitens, and disinfects clothes, floors, windows, even silverware, dishes, rust that have soaked in marble, etc. Can you imagine? 2, dip a damp cloth in ash or liquor and clean the glass doors from the fireplace. Rub the windows with a damp sponge dipped in ash. A paste of ash and water can remove stains from furniture. I didn't even know these things. 3, if we want a stain to leave the clothes quickly at the time it was made, we put some ashes on it, and after 5 minutes we rub it with breadcrumbs. 4, ash is used to dispel bad odors. We just put it on anything that smells bad, for example, in an old toilet or a cat toilet. 5, to make our refrigerator smell, we put in we put in a plate with charcoal powder made of charcoal, and we renew it until the smell is gone. 6, it's also used in brushing teeth. 7, we can bathe very naturally with this liquor of ash and water and use vinegar. They call it liquor because I'm translating it from Greek, but it's basically a mixture of ash and water, and use vinegar in the rinse. This is more favorable for oily hair. Bathing in this. 8, we use this mixture of ash and water, what they call here liquor, in our kitchen, in many sweets and foods, such as the preparation of mustard flour, and also in melo macarona, and in bread. In addition to the wonderful taste and velvety texture that it gives to our food, it cleanses the intestine of pathogenic microorganisms. The bread becomes fluffier, and it helps it not to be rubbing off into crumbs. 9. For a long time, wood ash has been used in agriculture as it recycles nutrients back to the earth. That's why a lot of times we see farmers burning their fields, because the ash is good for the soil. Ash is also used as fertilizer, but does not contain nitrogen. Carbon dioxide is also bound by microorganisms in the soil whose growth is enhanced by ash, and the soil becomes more fertile. Due to the presence of calcium carbonate, the acidity of the soil is neutralized, increasing its pH and increasing the activity of soil bacteria. Increasing soil alkalinity affects plant nutrition. Nutrients are more readily available to plants when the soil is slightly acidic. But because the pH of the soil is greatly increased by adding large amounts, it can do more harm than good. Ash should not be used on plants that love acidic soil, such as potatoes and blackberries. It is good to use sparingly, and the pH of the soil is checked regularly. 10. Strengthens calcium-loving plants such as tomatoes, vines, beans, spinach, peas, avocados, garlic, etc. The roses are still thriving. We can add 1/4 cup to each pit during planting. 11. A spoonful of ash per 1,000 liters of water strengthens aquatic plants. 12. It helps the plant not to freeze in winter if we put a layer of ash on them. 13. Repels animals. Nothing approaches the ashes. With the ash, various insects and pests such as slugs and snails, etc., are removed from the garden. That I didn't even know. I didn't know most of these things. 14. It repels ants. If we throw a little ash in their anthill, they cannot carry the ashes whenever they change nests. 15. We scatter ashes in the corners of dark places of our warehouse or our house. As long as there is ash, mice, cockroaches, insects will not approach. 6. Repels lice on the scalp, fleas and ticks from pets. We can make a mixture of ash together with vinegar to make a thick mud and spread it on the scalp. 7. Repels the moth. We can throw ashes on our clothes and then store them, and when we want to use them, we just shake the ash off. They can thus stay for several years without suffering anything at all. 18. Potash, potassium hydroxide, KOH, can be produced from ash and distilled water, which in turn can be used in the production of soap. The process is a bit complicated and time-consuming and needs special attention because the potash is caustic. You know, our grandmothers knew how to make soap from the lard of meat and the ashes from the fireplace. I mean, it's amazing what they knew how to make, and we don't even know how to do all these things. Soap. 19. Used in perennial eggs, which are canned eggs made in the East and used in their cuisine. Eggs can be preserved with a mixture of clay, ash, salt, lime, and rice husk for several weeks to several months, depending on the method of processing. 20. Soda, sodium carbonate, Na2CO3, is washing soda, can be produced from ash. Soda is known for its daily use as a water softener. Soda is produced by boiling a mixture of ash and water and then collecting it when the water evaporates. 21. Ash melts ice because it contains salt. It's a little more than salt or other chemicals used nowadays. Filter, the coals that remain from the combustion, the black pieces, not the gray or white ash, can be beaten with a hammer and then ground with a pestle or blender and get a fine powder. This coal dust can be used as a filter. 23. Use a filter or wine if it finds us a little cloudy. 24. If our spring water has worms or carps, we can filter it to ash and get a clear, crystal clear water. 25. Dehumidification. Pieces of carbon charcoal are placed in metal containers with holes and can help reduce moisture in places such as cabinets, basements, under sinks, etc. 26. Extinguish the fire very easily and quickly by throwing ashes on it. 27. In the old days, large clay pots were used to preserve seeds such as beans, which were covered with a thick layer of ash. This helped keep the beetles from eating them. A study in Nigeria shows that wood ash dehydrates seeds and makes them less prone to infection. 28. Used on wounds to kill any germ and make healing very fast. Dissolve a little handmade soap in the liquor, in the ash water mixture, and wash the wound with it without rinsing it afterwards. 29. Refrigerator without electric. We can preserve fruits and vegetables without suffering anything for many days to years. Dig a pit, fill it with ashes, place the vegetables so that they do not come in contact with each other or with the soil. Cover the pit with a stick and leaves, and leave them. Cover the pit with a stick and leave. 30. In the old days, to prevent rennet, they put it in a horn, filled it with ashes, sealed it with mud, and hung it on the tree. They left it there for years without any damage to the rennet. There will definitely be other uses that I have not yet discovered. And this is translated for you from a Greek article. Amazing what you can do with ash. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. And the Fireplace is Creative Commons Fireplace video, and I'll leave a link below for you for that. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.